Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to this new Bitcoin technical and order flow analysis video. This is not going to be just about Bitcoin, but first half of the video I'm going to do Ethereum technical analysis, maybe a bit of order flow. Yesterday I just finished Ethereum charting for a few months, I think, or even like over a year. I haven't made any updates on my charting on Ethereum. I was not trading it much, but yesterday I did charting from the scratch. If you want to learn how to, learn this, you can go into our Discord, and actually for the next 7 days I will be sharing this link where you can watch this for very small fee. The analysis, technical analysis charting on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we'll be starting with Ethereum. Ethereum is getting institutional demand. You can see on inflows on ETFs is getting larger inflows than Bitcoin. It's actually trading better with higher volatility and even volume than Bitcoin on Binance, for example. So my attention is to Ethereum as well. So right now I'm trading Bitcoin and Ethereum combined. What the times, right? We are Bitcoin Heroes channel. But again, if I see something is trading better than Bitcoin or just equally, I am taking some extra trade setups for Ethereum. Why not? Because Ethereum reminds me it's trading similar to Bitcoin as in 2017 when Bitcoin was in a price discovery. Ethereum is also very close to all-time highs. It's just 4 times smaller market cap. It means you will see much larger volatility and rewards for your trade, especially when you break above it. So first portion of the video, we will go over Ethereum on all time frames. I want to show you big targets we can expect to the upsides where we can see top of the cycle. I was very precise on this on Bitcoin, so I will show you similar methodology on Ethereum. Then other portion of the video, we can have a look on Bitcoin, what to expect for the remaining of the week, how I'm positioned. Currently I'm both long on Ethereum and Bitcoin because I'm doing cross asset trading, which means Bitcoin is the final boss, is providing additional confluence for Ethereum as well. I had this trade area here for a very long time since we were dropping from all-time highs. This was the first big trade area for me to engage on the swing account or day trade account. We can see we had only very slight wick into the 6-day point of control we held, and from that moment, so I'm still in longs. I'm also taking a bit of profits as we are rising because we have a lot of risks in the next few weeks, so we need to be really cautious. So let's start now. Let's start Ethereum charting from the scratch. Done. And now I'll go over everything. It's first time I'm doing this after over a year. Let's go to 1 hour time frame. We can do a very local analysis first. Yes, 30-minute time frame. And one more reminder, if we go to, we have many sections, right? Here is the range time frames. This is, I made the unified section where you can watch how I'm watching market from local, medium to high time frames, what colors, how I'm plotting the range and so on. This was very useful to do, so you understand the colors and everything I use. So Ethereum locally from AMT, this is extremely crucial for us. This is why it's number 1 folder for me on many assets in the world, because I'm using AMT not only in trading but also in investing. I always look for nice trades. For exposure on stocks and indexes when AMT is helping me. So we can see Ethereum this was massive push on the Friday. Yes, we made a lot of money, most of us on this, and then we gave up whole move to the downside, to the upside. The main reason why Ethereum was going down because this was inefficiency over here. When we pull a new profile here, you will see that more clearly. So let's go from here to here. And you see the volume was absolutely non-existent here. Actually, this was here. In these regions, this was where market needed to stop on Ethereum. I was showing that in our group. In this area, right? You needed to make it as a support and then do this. Yes, consolidate above. But as soon as you lost this low, you've got into the low volume nodes and you were feeling inefficiency. This was also, some people watch it as a fair value gap because the candle is stopping here. This is why only true support was coming here from Ethereum. Once you destroyed everybody who was in the pump, you are now finding support. Where do you find this support? Do you think it's just random? No, it is high volume node, KISS. This is why you always mark on your charts point of controls and overall high volume nodes in key ranges, because market can front run such obvious levels. Here we even front run the high volume node. We can see like we've entered into this area, but yeah, it was front run, so it was such a strong support. So since that moment I was looking for longs here. You can see I'm royally rewarded on Ethereum. 7% over almost 8% move to the upside. And again, if you are longing here, you see very little. When we go to even smaller time frames, such violent drop actually caused another inefficiency, and market, like your immediate targets would be once you start getting acceptance into the single prints, you will let it run and you feel most of it. We've seen also institutional demand was waking up here, like order books were changing on Ethereum as well. But first I want to do this just technical analysis. Now we are facing first resistance region, because you can see here this time when it was last range above close to all-time highs, few times support. Now is first resistance, second resistance. Once you actually reclaim this area, we can go into the like last range above close to all-time high, and then you will be rotating it. But for now, everything I say is not financial education and just entertainment. But I took another take profit here. Is logical area after 7.7%. I will be happy to add to my trade on the pullback, but I'm leaving 40% exposure. You know my thresholds. I absolutely love to have each take profit one for 30%, and then I'm leaving the last 40% as a swing exposure if there is potential for it. So I'm taking another profit here, because this is now completed. We've completed another 2 weeks range rotation, right? So you see, you'll be already like ranging it for some time. Sure, you can go for the all-time highs later on, but you need to take money off the table strategically, because market is ranging 80% of time. Most of the time is just non-trending. Yeah? It's gonna be. So yes, take profit taken. And if you want to look for future pullback as a support, you can look for this local intraday range here. And I think we have some nice daily point of control there. In case we get deeper pullback, we need to go to Ethereum here. 30-minute time frame and 30 ticks. Here you go. This point of control is waiting for you in the future. And now it's pretty much crucial, because if you start trading outside 2 weeks VAH, you have a AMT limbo here, no big range here, and then you will be watching if you get acceptance into this range. If you do, that's a good sign, and we might push further. If I see acceptance into this range, I will be adding to my trade as well, maybe 10-15% to raise my entry a bit higher for the wider stop loss, but I have a larger exposure. This is how you actually are really systematic and consistent in your trading. When you cannot lose the trade, you are actually increasing your exposure just for the bit wider stop loss. That's it. So that's from AMT. In case we lose in this low in the future, maybe September will be pretty red for the markets. I cannot predict this. I'm waiting for data. We will see. Then you will look for another, you have very weak lows here. 1, 2, I think 2 lows together, equal lows. You can actually fix them and take remaining liquidity into 2 weeks VAL. So this is another future opportunity area. And of course you will watch then 19 August or low. Again, this low could be really crucial for Ethereum, because if it's lost, you will be actually changing structure on many time frames, and it can signal a larger move to the downside. This area on Ethereum is problematic because you just did pump here. There is very little volume here. Unless you see massive orders in the order books, this area is just not support. So you will then look for support in the previous consolidation, which is right here at 3 weeks. VAH, and then main point of control of the range with high volume node. So this is your proper support area. Again, you don't want to get acceptance into this area. But for now, we look at the Ethereum looking absolutely strong, because we just get such a big ETF inflows. So that's from AMT. Let's go to anchor VWAPs. Only local ones, which are, measuring my bias. So first of all, you need anchor VWAP from the main low we did after a pretty massive pullback. Right now, market is looking very, very strong. You can see how much we were fighting and defending this anchor VWAP. There were just small daps below it, but the EVs were defended. Look at that. Then we did big push out of this local consolidation. VWAP held. These were all bullish signs. When you were in long here, This is what you want to see. And now in the future, you can watch this anchor view on future retest. This is going to tell you if the trend is strong. And if you see good reaction, you can be taking new trade. And what we also are doing is another crucial thing. You need to watch anchor view from the top, which is measuring top range and like overall volume since what happened. And then we have this was new all-time high on Ethereum, so we need that anchor view as well. You can see first we've got the reaction down now, but now we are chopping inside. This is like big decision area here. Clean reclaim of this can signal more upside, but of course you still have this high where you can do swing value pattern. You watch that, but if you reclaim, then it's going to be pretty good because everybody from more recent price action will get into profit on longs, and you will put pressure on more shorts. Another thing I can show you is price action principle. You had massive sell side move here, so reclaim of this area is also really good because you trapped everybody shorting into the lows. So you also want to stay above this general area, okay? Then market is also looking really, really good for you. So that's more of a local, but I think what is more important on Ethereum is high time frame analysis and medium time frame, and I want to show you some big targets to the upside. I'm already marked impulse liquidity as well. This is basically it's really good to see that because Bitcoin did similar thing like a few days back when we were dropping on Sunday. I'm marking myself where is the liquidity from the impulse. So if everybody is getting very FOMO and greedy buying, yes, you need to know when they get destroyed. And you use Tradingdifferent for this. Same thing here, because let's say Ethereum goes for deeper pullback, where will be the maximum pain point? Let's say you do this. You can actually do this, or you can do this. This is going to be like max pain point, then you do this. Possible, yeah. You just need to know always where is the key liquidity. We have similar impulses here. This can actually be taken on maybe in some form of recession, or I don't know, because Ethereum is still looking very, very strong. We would need the global markets crashing down. So a lot of capital escapes Ethereum and goes for liquidity of these impulses, yeah. Market structures. Another crucial puzzle into your trading. So to the upside, we currently have these market structure zones. You can watch as resistances, one from all-time highs. This one is also pretty interesting. Maybe you find secondary low here. You can even mark like smaller ones, but I don't mark everything on my chart because it's just going to be too much. But you can see what Ethereum did here was also, you can see here, this was top, like we were ranging here for how long? 4 days, and you can see this was resistance 1, 2, 3 times, even if like 4 times. So that bullish, you did bullish backtest of that range, of that mini range, and you can see we didn't even get acceptance into the, I think, yeah, point of control was holding here, we know that. And when the market is trending, this is like the most important rule you need to remember from AMT. I actually made this in tutorials, but when market is trending and you are getting into the pullbacks, this is your continuation area. VAH, point of control, and ideally high volume node. If you are doing retest, you must hold this area. You must hold this box, and then if you hold it, this is really good for continuation. So this was your immediate support and it held. Again, Ethereum super clean trading, same like Bitcoin, very very technical. If you start losing this point of control, then you open road for taking out impulse fully and do range rotation. It's very binary outcome here, and that's what I love in trading. Some binary outcomes, always welcome. So you had that market structure. I can actually keep it in my folder. Why not? And the top of the range holding. So again, really, really good. You destroyed everybody in impulse, and now you're holding. So it was very, very good long from all this technical analysis view. Now let's go to a bit higher time frame. We still have, if this area is lost, you still have another market structure over here. Again, it's going to be helpful for swing value pattern for these lows to find stability here. You have the naked market structure where you can undercut it, for example, like this, and then you start ranging and reclaiming them up. That's what's the purpose of it. And now if I go to very high time frame, like 4-hour time frame, you will see we have even more important market structure, maybe even yes, this one. So Ethereum was topping out in December 2024, and it gave us this high time frame market structure. Is highlighted red. This is actually very crucial if you want to stay max bullish on Ethereum. If you will be consolidating in this area on Ethereum, I see no problem. Doing that is very healthy, and we can just continue for the new all-time highs. And we've got that first retest, and the reaction was absolutely impressive. Very, very impressive reaction in 19th of August. So you held this. This is crucial. Because if you start losing this area, again, you remember these dangers. You will go into the impulse, and you will go and return back into this range. And then you will be trading that range, liquidity of that range. Very simple stuff. So market structure holding, key one, very good for us. You can also mark on your chart key levels. If you, again, crypto as an asset class is very volatile. So I don't like to mark very key levels. You can use key levels in conjunction with the market structures. That's probably the best outcome. But again, if you use very precise levels, you can still use them and you know where they are. I was marking only the most important ones. This is actually very useful for you because you can notice how Ethereum is fighting like levels from few years back. Yeah, look at these highs here. Yeah, from 2021 we had secondary high, we had prior all-time high. If I zoom in, do you see where we found resistance as we are pushing to the upside right at the level? Yeah, because it's also general market structure. So, oops. And then we are in we were creating range here since start of January, like massive range, and we've topped out few times these highs. Yeah, actually this was coming from secondary high, this resistance also here. So multi-month range here, multiple levels crafted, and you see what Bitcoin needs to do on the retest. That's what I was showing you, that market structure. It actually held all the key levels, 2024 high. So this is what Ethereum needs to do again. And that's how these principles can be applied to any asset class in the world. So very good retest here while we hold this. Nothing problematic happens. Some key levels on the downside to watch on the future pullbacks if given, and even more key levels. Look at that beauty. Yes, all the 2021, 2022 bear market key levels were holding. This was the capitulation event on Ethereum, by the way. I will be releasing new swing tool in a few days, where here that swing tool based on machine learning and AI is told you it's time to get into massive position on Ethereum. This was whole world capitulation, and it was still like technical and healthy. We've held many key levels from previous bear market. Yeah, look at that triple confluence. This was summer low of 2021. Why these levels hold? It's just simple. Like some institutions, they are watching these time frames only, and they are literally placing orders in such key levels. Yeah, so they absorb all the panic in the world, and they just fill their pockets. That's part of the swing trading in the end, if you want. So that's really good. And then, so we are in 2024 range, and you had multiple key levels form out of it as well. And then once we come out of this, yes, after key retests, we come back into this range, which is really good, and you go into the pullback, and you must actually held such pullback in fractal. Yeah, you must held in this area, in these areas, which was support for multiple times. You must do this. If you would be losing this, again, very bearish scenario, you can actually create new low. You held super critical juncture on Ethereum, and since that moment we push with the institutional demand. So key levels absolutely giving me clarity on Ethereum. Very good. Now we can go into the medium time frame. So I'm basically in this folder, I'm only measuring the past few months. I'm measuring this impulse where we have the local ranges, which I just showed you, and then we have like the biggest consolidation on Ethereum was happening here on medium time frame, on 2 months of consolidation. In case we get recession in the world, in case we get some black swan events, or just general sell-off in the September, right? This is going to be a stronger support for Ethereum on this impulse. Yes, so I definitely have some nice alerts in this area. Oh, yeah, it's really far away, of course, and you would need to do many signs of weakness, like losing these lows, then getting acceptance. But again, this was pump, not much support in it, so this is where I'm absolutely happy to buy Ethereum for long term in this range. Okay, so just be aware of that. Anchor view ups from medium time frames, they are more focused again on the impulse, we are just experiencing right now. Ethereum in 2017 Bitcoin moment. So I basically measure here, this is the impulse, the very strong impulse from 3,300. I'm seeing we've held it. It was briefly lost here. You can see already you were getting trades from it. Briefly lost, then reclaimed, moved to the upside again, and very clean retest 1, 2. So that's what I'm seeing. Like there was some chop around it, but it still was super technical after reclaim, and it held. Again, look at that pullback. Do you see why we actually held here? I showed you multiple confluence out of the previous consolidation, but now anchor VWAP was also on your side. So I think this is the most important anchor VWAP you need to watch on Ethereum on the medium time frame. Losing this anchor VWAP and especially deviating from anchor VWAP more than here, than this first deviation, could signal very, more weakness on Ethereum. So just be aware of that. Look at that market still consolidating, as like before I started video, I took another profit on Ethereum, and we already consolidating. Another pullback is happening. So just need to pay yourself, okay? So this is medium time frame, and this is another anchor VWAP which is waiting for retest. In the future, I will be ready to. I actually have alert on this anchor VWAP. It's currently at 3,600 and is coming from 2,200 lows. So June lows. This is now measuring, I would say, this bull market impulse wave. You don't want to definitely not. You don't want to lose this VWAP. That's, let's say, pretty simple. So watch that. And another, if you want to capture consolidation, which was happening for those 2 months, you can have another anchor VWAP from here. This is even stronger support here. Okay, so you have lots of support on the pullbacks just from anchor VWAPs on Ethereum. Order blocks, I don't watch order blocks. I mean, I watch them as much, but if I take the position in the order block or not is going to be decided from order flow. But for our order blocks, they have highest win rate on Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can backtest this with our indicator if you want. So I'm definitely watching them. You can see we are creating some of them on the pullbacks, and some massive monthly order blocks in these areas. Nothing to be said that. Let's see if we have something in extension, or we do something. We have something here. These extension targets are based on more local time frame. I'm basically watching. If you get back to this high, you might repeat similar impulse symmetry. So you can see the starting point is from here. So we can actually do same thing here, like here, yes, and then you will repeat it here. Then you get pullback. So next target to watch just from trend fib extensions is 5,500 on Ethereum. And then you have 161 multiplier, which is now at 6,390. That's what you can watch. One thing you can do for the downside, let's say this is the final high, final low, and this is going to be final high, then you can watch 4,023 for the similar symmetry to the downside. Very good. Now, did I skip bearish balance zones? I was doing them. Never mind. So we went over this. We have some daily levels below, weekly and monthly. These are pretty strong. You don't get many trades out of them often, but you can watch them on nice reaction. This is nice support band for such reactions, and also here these are giving you the best reward ratio trades. You use these levels in conjunction with the other tools I was showing you. It's basically naked close, which never got retested. So you watch that. Naked box. You can see we don't have as many naked box above us. We have composite naked pog. You can watch above us here at 4,772, and composite. These were, I think, they are still naked, but they got front run a bit. So I still have them here, but I know they used some of their power already. Swing failure patterns, key highs and lows to watch. Nothing to be said here, is very simple. Naked closes from VWAPs, they often serve as a support and resistance because these are institutional inefficiency which needs to be closed. Very nice band here in case we get larger pullback below 4050. You can watch this, and now we can move actually to higher time frame analysis and then macro as well, so you understand Ethereum from high time frames. From these time frames, also very simple. Maybe I will be turning on things one by one. Oh, these are trade areas, we can do them later. Okay, together is fine. 8-hour time frame, maybe it's gonna capture everything I want to see. Yes, it's okay. So you see I have two pulls here. I need two pulls here. One pull is pretty ugly, so but I still have it. This is the first pull you need to watch. The Ethereum was in this range here for long time, so I think this is very influential pull for us on future pullback. So that's what this pull is about. Is now in yellow color, and you can see Ethereum as it was rising in our uptrend. So first you were doing big rotations of this range, pushing to the upside. Look, 20-month high volume node. Do you see what was happening around that node? Very choppy price condition. So you always pay attention when market is in such big high volume nodes. It's just very likely you will range here. Yeah, so you will just more focus on the range. Once you clear that, you've got the move to the 20-month val for the secondary pull. Look at that. Look how important it is. Yes, you just cannot have only one pull. Reaction here, full range rotation, move beyond, very strong market, pullback, and pullback is holding what? 20-month VAG. Okay, so very good pull, we need to watch. Still very valid for Ethereum. And secondary pull is actually containing more Ethereum price action from like even on this pullback, like starting from here. Pullback is also contained. I just cannot contain into this pull this move below 2100. Yeah, it just cannot be done. You have this main pull for this, so you use both pulls, both key levels combined together, because if you were waiting for 20-month VAG retest, you would get front run. Okay, one more thing, maybe there is a mistake. So how long this pull was taking? So 11th of January until 26th of February, so it's 13 months. Yeah, I will just update this because my OCD is gonna kill me soon. So just copying level. So it's 13-month VAG and then 13-month val. Now better, far better, because this is 20-month pull. So on macro scale, you see what Ethereum was doing. We were ranging for multiple years actually in this range, but this is why the push up is so strong, because if you range for a few years and you actually break finally, then it's very strong breakout. It tends to be, and you already held first retest. I have trade area for swing trade marked here. In the future, if Ethereum goes for pullback, I want to see another stability in this region. Yeah, maybe the range and then push to the upside. Very good region for building swing trades. If this area is getting lost, then of course you open road for this. Was very strong impulse. You will be trading new trades out of this local range, medium time frame range, but you will have on top of it, you will have protection and help from this multi-year range. Okay, and that's why another area is waiting here. AMT is influencing a lot of my decisions, so has to be done. And 20-month point of control waiting. You have also secondary point of control here. I will actually mark it maybe when we end the video. So you have the like whole area of 20-month high volume node here. Yes, so supports are very clear for high time frames for any big pullbacks. You can notice one more thing. This was the range of bear market. You can see how Ethereum, with that exhaustive drop during April, during tariff trumps, actually almost rotated the bear market range fully. It even grabbed liquidity fully. I think many people actually angrily sold Ethereum. And yeah, almost val reached. So many orders were placed in the previous range and then we held it. Very nice, very clean. I'm just marking here in this section very strong high time frame market structure area nodes, the most influential on Bitcoin. You can see we pushed into the new all-time highs, but we are still battling. We are, fighting with this market structure from 2021. This area is still providing resistance. This area needs to be reclaimed as a whole for more upside. Okay, it needs time, because imagine some people. I even had like 2 friends who bought Ethereum at 4,500, I think, back then. So again, these people need to escape. They need to sell at zero. These are dynamics not only from trading but also from spot. Someone bought the top and he needs to exit. So of course it's logical. You will see some fighting here, and some people. For some people, this is the best opportunity area to short Ethereum as well. So yeah, for the pullbacks, you already got rewarded a few times on that. So yeah, many motives are happening there. So again, on the pullback, I was already explaining you this market structure area. I think is overlapping with the medium time frame. Let me show you. Yeah, because I'm on a medium time frame, you see I'm watching like very neighboring market structure. So that's what also held. But on like larger scale, you also need to be aware this is much wider area. So this like whole area is your support from high time frames, and you held the backtest really good. So very strong sign. In the pullbacks, we will be watching. This was previously very strong support, then become 2 times resistance. So in the future, we expect good retest. I think it can be matching actually VA. No, it's not matching VA, but again, sometimes you have market structure in outside of the AMT. High time frame anchored VWAPs looking very bullish. You mainly watch, like, the most focus is on the anchor VWAP, which started from 2022 bear market lows. You can notice when Ethereum dropped into the previous bear market range, then we've got the big push, and then on the reclaim you were again paying attention to these VWAPs. That was very crucial. Even on the big pullbacks in 2024, look at where the week was ending. Again, lots of people had limit orders in these VWAPs from previous bear market, right? So they are very crucial, and they will be, as we are pushing on Ethereum, they will be providing future supports in bear markets and in major pullbacks. So definitely watch them. And of course, the most important VWAP on high time frame is this VWAP starting from capitulation on April 2025, and currently super strong anchor VWAP because that first retest was survived. You need to watch these anchor VWAPs not on a 5-minute time frame. You need to watch them on 4-hour to daily time frame and see if there is close below or not. We've got the push. We've had the week, but there was never close. It's holding really well, and you push to the upside. Beautiful. And this anchor VWAP is actually measuring since when? 31st of January 2024. Oh yeah, this is measuring the range. This is like main range of past few years. I was showing you this pulse just brief, like few minutes back. For me, this was resistance, but once reclaimed, this is what unlocked true upside to the Bitcoin, because this was your green light and market was telling you, all right, I'm gonna rotate this range again because I unlock. Like, that's how you use anchor VWAPs in combination with AMT. Yeah, this was your green signal. You might be rotating this range fully unlocked. Very nice. I think I'm missing one more anchor VWAP here, and this is from, we'll do it right now. It's coming from, Ethereum doesn't have much price action in these areas, but in Corona low we need anchor VWAP as well, and I'm gonna mark it as this color range. It's just not range, but yeah, it's actually in the bands of, very good. This is actually measuring like almost whole cycle and lifespan of Ethereum. So definitely now must be on my charts and in the bands. So that's anchor VWAPs. Let's go further. Now we have some balance zones to talk about. Let's see the pulse. Okay, we have the pulse. It's just very interesting. I haven't made any balance zone pull on this more recent price action. We can maybe do live one. I'm just thinking which one I will choose. There was pretty ugly consolidation during April. But I think maybe Ethereum is doing balance zone multipliers of this. Let's see. 3. This is not so precise. I don't know why I don't have just more recent balance zone pool. Can do it maybe from here. And I will make the folder. I don't know. Yeah. Medium time frame. Because yeah, there was no, yeah, now it's much cleaner consolidation. So I will put it somewhere here. Because you always need to know what is the more recent market participants doing. The targets to the upside are clear here, but now let's go now to high time frame. So balance zones on high time frames. What we have here? We have multiple of them, 2 of them. We have main symmetry. So this is now we will be talking about future targets for Ethereum. So after the bear market lows, we were in a range. We were in clear range from those lows for multiple months, same as Bitcoin. Then you got the push, and then you started the big consolidation. Very crucial high for me is this, because for a few years we were unable to go above this. So this must be start of the balance zone. And then you've got the big pullback in April, right? So this is the start of it. And from that moment, we are watching the multipliers and symmetry and extensions out of it. We can see once we lost this range, we went for 1.5 first. And then final target, final capitulation was done at 2 to 1. Everybody, I know some people actually sold Ethereum. I was not selling at the lows, but I was selling earlier. Then I had to rebuy later. On Ethereum, I didn't make perfect play, but it's okay. I made perfect play on most of the assets. You cannot be just 100%. You can do still some mistakes. What matters here, this is the 1-to-1 extension of this range. So this is the absolutely the most important pull for Ethereum right now on high time frames. And here we do. So if we repeat, like, do you see why we are stopping right now? Yes, we are stopping right now because some people are watching symmetry of 1.5. So 1.5 was reached over here. It actually gave you very precise reactions. People still can't understand how these balance zones are so perfect. They are, you better learn them. So we are getting pullback and now we're returning back to highs. But the main reason, like one of the reasons, you've got some confluence here I was showing you, but again, balance zones, additional confluence for you to take some money off the table because you completed this symmetry. And if you like repeat this symmetry, you can actually go for deeper pullback. That's also possible. So some people are just taking money off the table. Because you can predict market, but we can only work with probabilities. So it's nothing wrong. They take profit, especially after such a massive increase. If we continue beyond new all-time high, which is now very marginal compared to this, very, very marginal, is actually all-time high swing failure pattern as it stands right now. You have the main symmetry target from this 2-to-1, I mean 1-to-1 of the downside to 1-to-1 to the upside, okay? It's now at 5,402. It would be very odd actually to think maybe Ethereum stops there. But if you see some nice reactions, if you see local range or you will see violent rejection, you will know why. And for Ethereum, one more thing you can watch. The most bullish for Ethereum is right now to start consolidating in this area. Yes. And I will be watching, even if we go beyond this 1-to-1 of the extension out of this, I will now be adding more. I will be watching 2-to-1, 3-to-1. I will be monitoring all of that. This is, again, the precise pool market is watching. So that's one pool we have. Main symmetry, then we have 1-to-1 of the overall move. So this is now measuring the 2024 high and capitulation low. Of course, you need balance zone pull for such thing like that. We are in 0.25 here, and I'm mainly watching now 0.5, which is 5,461. By the way, you know it's actually matching 1-to-1 extension out of this range. So again, you have now double confluence as another target there. And if we go beyond this resistance area from balance zones, then we have another target to chase, and it's going to be same as we did same move to the downside, which took some time. We can actually go and do this 6,824. This is my most realistic target in case, again, market needs to cooperate. We need global liquidity increasing. We need no recession. We need AI party going. Today we actually have NVIDIA reporting, so we'll see how it goes. We need world to cooperate, but if Ethereum gets the cooperation, I think this is going to be very, very good target in the future, 6,824. Remember one more thing about Ethereum. Ethereum, based on inflation from 2021, inflation adjusted target, needs to go to 5,800 to actually make inflation adjusted high. So Ethereum is still not the good, like best performing asset, because it just needs to clear this. Yes. And dollar is actually very strong, very weak. So Ethereum still has lots of work to do. This is going to be true high inflation incorporated into it. So this is a secondary pool we can watch, and I think we have one more pool, and I think I did similar thing on Bitcoin. You can actually watch multipliers from, let me turn off, because we need, like when Ethereum and like Bitcoin was moving very good from multiplier, like we were ranging for few months at the bear market lows, and out of that range we were actually watching extensions and symmetry moves from it. So I think same thing we need to do on Ethereum. I will just turn off these thresholds. We can reverse this. Reverse. We will extend this to the upside. Just want to show if this is a good pull and market is actually respecting this. There is not much respect to this pool, so I don't think maybe market is not watching this, because you simply want to watch Ethereum ranging in this box and in this box, and it's just extending out of it. So maybe this is not the correct pool. One more adjustment I will do is contain this high. This is a bit better, but I will decide later if I push it, because if I show you Bitcoin, let me just show you comparison what I mean by this. These extensions, maybe Ethereum was not like that with Bitcoin. So it balance zones high time frame, I think it's going to be here, daily time frame. Yeah, it's here, but yeah, let's just focus on Ethereum. So that's that. We also have macro balance zone, and then the macro balance zone we have, I think, two pools. Yes, we do. So I was showing you high time frame, which is more coming from past few years, and then macro is including 5 years, 4 years of price action. We have this pool here. And again, if we repeat, because Bitcoin did this, yeah, on macro, Bitcoin doubled. So the most bullish scenario for Ethereum, where you will be like very huge targets, will be if you repeat similar symmetry to the downside, to the upside. So your big target will become, first of all, we have, you can imagine this as a range. Let's just imagine this is not a range of past few years, but past few days. So similar thing is happening. If we range here for few years, so there will be a range liquidity in this up to 125. This is also inflation adjusted high. Okay, so maybe we will just run this and then starts consolidation and first pullback, because you grab range liquidity for the past few years. That's one of the scenarios. So make sure to watch 125. If you go beyond, then big targets coming, 6,877. I think this is matching another balance zone I was showing on high time frame. Let me check. It's 1-to-1 target. Yeah, it's actually 1-to-1 target of the 2024. So again, you have double confluence here. Very likely we might see rejection here or a range. And if I see that, I will be taking profit on Ethereum. Maybe I'll look for hedge shorts here. Yeah, so very good box to watch in the future. And another target, if we repeat 1-to-1 extension of the downside of the bear market of 2021 and 22, 8,876 is another target area you will watch on Ethereum. Yes, huge target. I'm definitely will be taking more profit if we come into this area, and Ethereum will simply like double when you come there. Yeah, in monetary dollar terms. So that's the main pool for the macro, and we also have secondary pool, and the pool is now this pool is based on this high and this low. Why I'm watching this pool, I think it's still valid because we've seen really good reactions out of it in previous cycle. You went into 125, you grabbed some very nice liquidity, and 125 was also respected here. And this was this was like first big high on Ethereum in previous cycle, and then big low. Look at that pullback. Yeah, this was crazy volatility back then. And then yeah, we've got these reactions, and you can watch this as an additional confluence. This is secondary, most important pool on Ethereum. So that's that. What else we've got here? We have macro range. Let me check what we have here. Macro range basically shows you Ethereum for the past few years. Where is that support for big pullbacks? Let me turn on everything, and this is how it looks like. Yeah? So we are measuring Ethereum since January 2021 up to current moment. These are another, I think this is for me, if we come into the retest in the future of the macro 4-year VAH and macro high volume node, this is for me definitely area where I will be cost averaging into Ethereum and do spot hodl as well. Do we have, just let me check because I was preparing trade areas, right? So high time frame. Yes, we actually have. So you see how my thinking is overlapping each other, yeah? We also have trade area for swing long on Ethereum in this area. So 2700 down to 2400 is going to be your ultimate support for Ethereum, I think, even in bear market. Yes, in this area. And if we get into this box, you know what to do. You better sell everything you don't need and you just buy more Ethereum. And same with Bitcoin, okay? Because you again will be revisiting such a huge consolidation zones, right? So, and this macro range was also very perfect. Yes, we were ranging for few years here, and on that capitulation in April, you did nothing wrong. All you did was just retesting macro POC and macro high volume node. This was where most of the Ethereum was traded in like past few years. So you see, traders defended their positions, and institutions they placed a lot of limit orders here, and they bought Ethereum at the best possible area. Like the last area you would want is here, but again you were buying where you had that volume on your side. Man, Ethereum is so technical, same like Bitcoin. I absolutely love it. Key thing is to chart what matters. Yeah, if you watch some bullshit and you don't know how to prepare this, just watch my live stream and you will see how I did this. It took me like 1 or 2 hours, and I'm absolutely ready on Ethereum, on local, medium, high, and macro time frame. Yeah, just ready. What else we've got? So macro range we did. We have macro channel to watch. This is macro channel since Ethereum birth. We will be watching if it actually provides resistance in the future in these lines. I put the blue line what's that blue line based on? I think it's 1 point. It's basically just symmetry because I was watching how much Ethereum deviated beyond the main channel, and I was seeing it deviated 0.08 out of the yellow line. So same thing I placed onto the downside, and it was very close to the bottom as well. So again, watch this as a future resistance, and remember how it goes with channels. If you actually reclaim this area, this can actually signal even much further upside, and you will try to you will try to make this as a support. Right now we trade above midline, which is really good sign for you. Macro channel done. I think we have macro pitchfork. This is the main macro pitchfork for the Ethereum. Perfect reaction from here, and future resistance now coming at 5,600 to 700. This is going to be the inflationary high for Ethereum. You see how everything is working together. Macro trend FIP, what's that about? 7 days. Yeah, this is okay. We basically watch Corona low, previous cycle high, and previous cycle pullback, and from that we get a one-to-one extension, which is now at 5,660. It's aligning a lot of confluence from other things I was showing you, but yeah, this is going to be another target for market participants. It's going to also sweep the range liquidity I was mentioning, and then you have more targets, maybe 10,450. If we double the move, you basically count on doubling the Corona, same move as from Corona lows. If Ethereum catches some crazy beat, some people call 12k on Ethereum, but I would say if that happens, then 10,454 is going to be a huge target. And remember, my balance zone pools on Bitcoin were respected past few years perfectly. Actually estimated a lot of bear market lows and highs with them, so just pay attention to these pools. That's from like this charting. We can check also the few indicators. For now we need to watch the this is really good study. I made a video about this. This is also for institutional investors or just general investors and hodlers. It's gonna tell you how is Ethereum doing since since yearly open. The red line is yearly open, and the yellow, pink and green line are deviations. We can see Ethereum, we started like new year with the bad foot on like from Trump. You can see how we were riding standard deviation 2 band. That was pretty good, but I don't think we never got into this. I think Bitcoin got into the blue, this line, this cycle, I think, in 2025, but Ethereum was just riding very bearishly. What is this useful for? Well, you watch if you start breaking outside of the bands. Now the yellow area is where markets, which is not trending, is trying to spend most of the time, and here you've got the acceptance into it, so it was signaling we might actually return back into yearly VWAP, and then bullish consolidation above yearly VWAP for a long time, lost briefly, reclaimed, and then we push higher. You can also see we spend only 5% of time below the green standard deviation 3. This is extremely rare move, so you can see why we quickly bounced back. Yes, we moved down, but again only 5% of the year is spent below this line, so this was your buying opportunity when you see such a heavy outstretch. You can notice in previous, like 2024, Ethereum was spending actually most of the time in the yellow area, and people were using these standard deviation bands only to book profits and to look for additional shorts, like here, yeah, resistance. Ethereum currently super bullish from this view, yes. You can notice we've got move outside of the yellow area. This is like first big sign you will be trending. Second big sign is now you will go into the standard deviation 2 and standard deviation 3 band, and if you are actually pushing very aggressive uptrend, it tends to happen in the standard deviation 3 band, like here. But overall, these two bands, while you are holding them, like when you are trending in them and you are making higher highs, higher lows, even now it's still higher low, but again, decision point, you can still do this, yeah. I'll be watching on the pullbacks the band, the yellow band to be defended. Same like it was resistance here. It's actually matching this. And while you trade in this area, Ethereum is very, very strong. Yes, you can still range here, prepare a new floor. And you can see how we are riding this now. Again, only 5% of time of the year we spend about standard deviation 3. We spend like multiple candles and then we go for pullback. This is useful when you are, for example, long from here. Ethereum is pushing for new all-time highs. This is used more for all-time high trading anyway. You book some money off the table, and if you have order flow signal, you can actually take short to be in hedge. Midline is supporting still, so Ethereum looking really good here. But we will see again, September is seasonally pretty weak, so that's cool from this perspective. One more thing, we have moving averages. Of course, moving averages I don't use on smaller time frames, only on big ones. The most important moving averages in the world are 200 moving weekly moving average and 200 day. This is widely used on Wall Street pretty much. People are loading up assets when you come into them. So the blue line is actually weekly. It should be, yeah. Close, none, time frame weekly. This is weekly one. It only started here because it needed volume. You can see how they are pretty close to each other. In case we get massive pullback on Ethereum, you will watch this as additional confluence to everything what I was just showing you, right? So they are now close together. The most important one is the 200 week moving average. During bear market lows or bear market highs, we tend to find a support resistance over them, like here. Look at that massive defense, yeah. lots of chop, yeah, because a lot of people are filling orders. Like traders who are trading these moving averages are getting absolutely killed trading them, but investors, they are just loading up entries on them, and it's very choppy. You can see very similar thing. Once you lost this, 200 week moving average tends to be bear market continuations down, yeah. So very good. I don't think I think that's it from Ethereum. You know what is impressive on Ethereum? It actually Ethereum is closing CME gaps even faster than Bitcoin. Look at that, CME gap closed. CME gap took time, but it closed. Perfect reaction from 4,000, yeah. CME gap got closed very quickly. CME gap got closed. You actually got really good scalp. Some people are, this is actually insane. I think this CME gap closure has higher win rate than Bitcoin itself on close. So just small tip, traders, watch that and be aware of this. So I think that's it for Ethereum. Showed you some big targets, showed you where I'm ready, showed you what I'm seeing locally. Of course, locally, technical analysis needs to be combined with the order flow. Yesterday I identified, so let's go back into Ethereum, because when I was longing Ethereum a few days back, I identified, right? So we've got because institutions are buying here, we have those data, so we just go with them. So the Ethereum trading is easiest trading for me ever. Anyway, new buyers below, walls from higher cancelled, move lower and filled. If we catch decent spot bid, we can go to 4,550. I was pretty much getting bullish on Ethereum. I was already positioned here. Look at that sell side, like a lot of sell walls actually closed. Massive 50,000 Ethereum sell side was filled here without any problem. We actually trapped those sellers. We are holding VWAP. We are getting new walls below spawn. They are protecting the kilos. They are protecting aggressive pullback. So Ethereum actually pushed up here. Not much problem to do that. So even when I showed you Ethereum charting and everything, you need to combine this with order flow. That's the reason you will actually pull the trigger. Technical analysis is going to show you where you want to look for trades. Order flow is going to tell you if you actually take the trades or not. And if you are educating on macro education, it's going to tell you why you are moving to the upside, why you are moving to the downside. Why is Ethereum moving to the upside? Because it has institutional demand and narrative. Look at the ETF inflows on Ethereum. This is absolutely crazy. Just for the past few days, you see Bitcoin is behaving like a sleepy drunkard on a beach, but Ethereum is experiencing biggest inflows of its history. It's 287 million, 337 million, 443 million, 455 million. Let's go to what is Bitcoin doing actually. Look here, past few days. Negative inflows. I think some of the outflows from Ethereum some of the outflows from Bitcoin actually landed in Ethereum. That's why we see this inverse correlation. So negative outflows from Bitcoin and Ethereum positive. See people just sell Bitcoin for Ethereum. I don't think it's a very wise step. Even if Ethereum is gonna be the best performing asset on the planet, my optimal ratio is 80% Bitcoin, 15% Ethereum and 5% Solana. If Ethereum increases, maybe that ratio is gonna change because Ethereum gets more value than Bitcoin. Maybe I get to 30-40% in my portfolio, and then I will sell some Ethereum for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still king for me. In bear markets, you will lose 80-90% of Ethereum, but on Bitcoin you will lose 50-60%. That's what I see. So again, you have higher potential incomes on Ethereum from hodling and trading as well, because volatility is super high. But if you get pullbacks, Ethereum is going to suffer a lot harder than Bitcoin. So it's all about your money and how you want to see the drawdowns on your investments. So you need to have this balance there. I would never advise you to go to 50% Ethereum, 50% Bitcoin, even if Ethereum just doubles from tomorrow. Yeah, it's just more a riskier bet. Yes, it's Bitcoin is king. I'm Bitcoin maximalist there, so you have to understand my point of view on Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin negative outflows. Past few days we actually see, so I think, yeah, it started 25th of August. So this week we are seeing positive inflows. One of the ways how you can watch this is very simple to use Coinbase. So remember, ETF inflows on Bitcoin and Ethereum, we are getting delayed data. So once this day ends, only then we find out how are the inflows. But how to use this in your trading? So you can watch Coinbase Premium Trend. If the trend is showing you positive values, and especially so high like 0.5 and above, it shows you the demand from ETFs can be pretty high on Bitcoin. Negative, and you very likely get more outflows from Bitcoin. Now it's positive, but it's not like super high. So there is demand for Bitcoin from ETFs, but it's nothing crazy. That's what I was showing you, like 200 million inflow day, 80 million inflow day. This will get much larger if Bitcoin gets like 500 million inflow days. Why this is working? Again, Coinbase is housing most of the ETFs in the world in the US. So if they are buying, you tend to see Bitcoin a bit more expensive on that exchange because they are filling their positions. Some of the orders are getting on OTC desks, so you will never see them. But again, this is really good indication we can watch. So this is Solana, yeah, sorry, to go to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is getting bounced thanks to ETFs as well, and it was helpful for maybe fund support here. Now we can talk briefly about Bitcoin. How long I was talking about Ethereum? Wow, 1 hour of talk about Ethereum. Okay, so it means I'm gonna give Bitcoin maybe max 30 minutes and that's it, because my voice is already saying goodbye. Okay. Maybe I will just cover Bitcoin very briefly. So again, we are prepared to long for Bitcoin in this area. This was first trade area I had on pullbacks. I was expecting we find support here simply from local AMT. Let's go here, because ultimately yes, you push to the upside on Pavel, but this was very limited support here, only 1 day of range, and you've got inefficiency here. This was also inefficiency. So you were looking for, proper support on Bitcoin from 6-day range and the naked point of control. If we turn on high volume node, we can see we were holding also high volume node. So Bitcoin, you can trade it precisely from level, but I advise you to be more of an area. Yeah, so this is area of support. And some people actually traded this point of control. Maybe they got stopped out on another low, but you were still in support. So don't trade Bitcoin and that's the result of your crazy leverage. Use normal leverage and you are chilling. Yeah, you have a wider stop loss. All is good. Even if you would lose this area, you still had another range, 6-day val of this range. So you've got more support. So again, this was really good trade area. You can see if Bitcoin, we don't know. That's the one thing we don't know. If we get like big pullback on September seasonality is saying us we might get big pullback during September, but we will be ready for that. In that case, I have trade areas prepared on Bitcoin lower, and they will be all coming from high time frame, medium to high time frame AMT support in this range. And then this is really good. Another trade area here. I will be looking for swing trades here as well, and another swing area here. And from medium time frame to our so this is now larger range than 1 month. We need to see high volume nodes. This is now next resistance for Bitcoin in case we get larger push to the upside just from this time frame. I think I have sell area. I mean not sell area, but I have a trade area there. Yes, I do. I have multiple trade areas you can watch to the upside. Here I'm watching for new short. Here I'm watching for new short, and here I'm watching for new short. So you have 3 of them. They are more explained in our group. Sorry, I'm just doing this short because I want to also go for dinner. So medium time frame, you can see we've got that really smaller high volume node here, which was coming from this consolidation and here. So that was holding. And after you start reclaiming the 2-month VAG is good. Another thing, you need to trade above this VAG, so we keep the bullish bias. Maybe we'll just range here. That's another scenario I'm aware of. Right now we are still at resistance. You can see Bitcoin is rejecting here. This needs to be reclaimed if you want to see further upside and feel more inefficiency, okay? Because if I go into main time frame on 30-minute folder, it was like targets I was trading, giving traders yesterday. It was filling all the inefficiency sell side to the downside. So this we finished like another mission. And another thing, this was the big drop to the downside when someone sold on spot huge market sell side on Bitcoin. You want to come into these highs, close the inefficiency, and then maybe we get a swing failure. I mean, we get maybe another scalp short from this high. This is happening from weekend, so weekend it has lower probability, so maybe we'll be just watching these highs as well. So plenty of resistances above are waiting for us on Bitcoin. And again, ultimately, the main support for Bitcoin is waiting in case we get deeper pullback from 2-month point of control right here. I think what we need to be aware of, we still have liquidity here from the impulse. So let's go to impulse liquidity. So we can actually outstretch, move to the downside. So you see we have high volume node, yes, and point of control, but the point of control got already traded here with these two lows, yeah. So it's like spent, and you have low volume node here. If I go to trading different, you will see we have so people were buying heavily from FOMOing into the new all-time highs on Bitcoin. If you come into the invalidation, what's gonna happen? Well, you can actually go into the for their liquidity. So just watch this box here, yeah. You will see in trading different. That's how I'm marking this. Is over here, yeah. Lots of Fed liquidity, like massive node. This is max pain scenario, and in case Bitcoin goes for deeper pullbacks in September or just later. Okay. Then you will find the support from that previous range. Strongest area is actually here. Look at the volume, very strong volume traded here. We have double vals here, 3-month VAH, 2-month val, and I have really good trade area here. So this is biggest opportunity area for Bitcoin. Let me find, I was actually telling our traders where I want to buy Bitcoin on spot markets, on deeper dips. I think it should be here, yeah, just for your bonus. If we get deeper pullback on Bitcoin and you want to allocate into spot, I will be adding to spot HODL at 105k, 98, 97, 93k, 87, 84, 81. Yeah, remember these zones. This is just bonus from me. And order flow wise, you can see we are already facing some resistance. So if you are long here, you should be taking some profits. A bit of profits, not hurting. Maybe you will keep 30-40%. But you see new sell walls are actually showing up here, and some of them moved actually lower. So there is some pressure, and spot markets, yeah, spot market, I expect we will be just trading in this box for maybe until the end of the week. This box here from 109,000 up to 115, because spot markets order books are pretty empty. You already see some pressure here. So final words about TRDR order flow, and this is going to be it. You can see the template we tweaked on TRDR is just too powerful. Again, we were trading the range here, we are building longs, big pump to the upside, sell side pressure showing up in the order books. We book profit, we look for short, we let it down. Now at these areas, at 110 to 109,000, even 108, we've had really good order books on, especially on perpetuals, and we had double bands. So it's showing you local, intraday, and medium time frame orders in the order books are really skewing to stabilize the market, and we played out with the move to the upside. So again, it's really important. TRDR is going to show you when to expect the range, and out of that range, same like big traders, you have time to build positions. And if they are, skewed heavily on for the upside or downside, you just go with them. Yeah, look at the pressure here at all-time highs. We knew we are entering into the massive pressure sell side, so all-time high swing failure pattern was logical. There is nice fuel in the system to punish, but not happening yet. What you need to see if you want to punish all the shorts into the lows is going to be something like this, and then you will see buying aggregation to the upside. These are still pretty low volume pushes to the upside, very careful. I think market participants are defensive again, because seasonality in September is really, really bad for equities, and not only equities, you actually have, I was sharing that in macro fundamentals. I was sharing this, like we also have TGA, so the Fed is actually building liquidity in their balance sheet, is not pushing it into the system, and that's generally negative in second half of the August and in September. So you have also institutional, like you have Fed confluence why assets are doing poorly past few weeks and even in September. I recommend you reading these articles. Yes, I can include them in my I will include these articles in under video links, under video subscriptions, yeah, so you can read. They're very comprehensive and explaining this thing well. So again, we have a lot of potential to short squeeze, but we need much higher volumes. This is nothing, yeah. It's like 500 million. This is like nothing, yeah. So, and these people were shorting here and here, so you need to move, starts to move beyond this high at least, and these highs with high volume, and then you will see proper big short squeeze. Why I'm saying so? Because we still have high open interest build up, yeah. But again, you need to put pressure on these people. Yeah, open interest was increasing since Pavel. We still have 50% in the market. I think many are shorts. The market is waiting for short squeeze. But again, I'm not sure if he's managed to short squeeze them, but I know there is potential. That's why I took some of the profits on the long, but I'm keeping some exposure as well for that. And you can notice the big pumps market are happening when Binance is getting a board. Coinbase also, here we had that move. Now spot market inflows are just going sideways, so very slow day for us. I think we don't even see much spot. Yeah, you see since cash open, immediate sell side pressure, nobody is buying on spot market. Now we see a bit of buying, but it's getting absorbed. So it was really good buying and you were unable to move the price, so bearish absorptions locally, but yeah. Here with this template, you clearly see what this market trying to do. He's keeping us in this box, spot market box. You can see these were not the strongest thresholds we had in the past. Like thresholds here were much stronger in terms of buy side on perpetuals and spot than here, but they are still enough to give us these decent bands. Sell side at the all-time highs. This is really good template for you to backtest. So you see what thresholds are causing this, or what are causing stabilization. Funding rate cooling down, that's nice to see. Aggregated spot. Here is more visible also on our swing template, really good support. While we still distribute, massive sell side above 120k. Perpetuals building support here, but you see this is now resistance band. Walls are disappearing because it's not showing you 1% from the price, but again, you see how much sell side we have on perpetuals. They are trying to put us into new range here, field orders. So and spot market, okay, spot market is very obvious. I was telling our traders the spot market still is defending. Like here we've got very strong defense of the lows. Many orders were placing. They're already feeling some orders here. And we see more sell side here. And it's like very spread, that is like not in one place, and we still have support on spot market here. If we get pullback and we fix these weak lows, I'll be interested to long Bitcoin again here at the local val. Definitely, that's what you will watch. And finally, what are whales doing? I think whales are not doing as much this week compared to previous week activity. It was crazy. Yes, nothing special going on. Some sell side above us currently. They want to buy the dip here, but there are no huge walls on the buy side. It's very similar, very different like here. Look how they were forcing market to the upside. That's what I want to see. So I think whales are just on holiday. This August week is the slowest week of the year in volatility. So just don't take crazy trades. Just trade slowly. Enjoy day trades, and all will be good. Thank you, traders, for watching. I'm exhausted, time to eat some dinner. If you like the video, just give it thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want to learn everything I'm showing you in these videos, join our group. Best investment in your life, because you will learn skills. I will not be here forever. In 1-2 years, I'm retiring from day trading and I'll be doing mainly swing trading and investing. So last 2 years of trading with me. Thank you for watching, traders, and goodbye.